Everything hurts to exhaustion. The first wedding night for newlyweds in Kyrgyzstan. Welcome! Today we will talk about how wedding ceremonies take place in Kyrgyzstan and how events unfold with the onset of the first wedding night. What item made of gold does the groom's mother always put on the bride? What does the groom do if he doesn't have enough money for the bride's ransom? Why do most girls in this country fear the first wedding night? And what does the demonstration of a bedsheet have to do with it? Be sure to watch the video to the very end so as not to miss anything important. Wedding preparations. As you understand, many wedding traditions and customs have been preserved for many decades. The Kyrgyz Republic, Kyrgyzstan, is no exception in this regard. Of course, times are different now, but there are things that have survived to this day. Let's talk about it in more detail. Of course, every wedding starts with preparations for this grand celebration. The Kyrgyz people are friendly and responsible. Several days before the wedding, they invite relatives, friends, and acquaintances. Formal introduction of the groom's and bride's parents then takes place. It is important to note that adults meet and discuss all details without the involvement of the future spouses. Matchmaking and the anticipation of meeting the groom. At the beginning of matchmaking, an essential part of every wedding in Kyrgyzstan takes place. The groom's mother presents gold earrings to the bride. Additionally, an adult woman herself puts this precious item on the girl. Gold earrings among the Kyrgyz are a special sign and token of respect to the future wife. After matchmaking, everyone finally gets ready for the festivities and celebration. The bride is waiting for her groom, who is about to arrive. Naturally, the young man does not come alone, but with a whole group. This group includes not only relatives, but also close friends. It is important to note that at this moment, the groom and bride receive blessings and well wishes. From now on, they are blessed and wished all the best. This is a separate wedding custom among the people of Kyrgyzstan, which has been upheld for many years. Sending off the bride. Before the wedding begins, the bride leaves her childhood home where she grew up and was raised. After this, the girl must bring dowry to her groom's house. This dowry could be valuable items like utensils and even household appliances. Finally, the bride receives a gift from relatives in the form of a bedding set. Did you know that in the past in Kyrgyzstan, people used to give not only money and jewelry, but also livestock as gifts, including exotic animals like camels? This simple way allowed certain families to demonstrate their material prosperity. The tradition of giving animals is almost non-existent today. Wedding ceremony, bride price, and marriage ritual. Now we have come to the most interesting and crucial stage in the lives of the future spouses, the wedding. The wedding ceremony starts with the bride price. Following this, the marriage ritual takes place. Let's analyze each of them separately. So, among the people of Kyrgyzstan, the bride price begins with the groom going to his bride's house. Bridal price negotiation among the Kyrgyz is called kalyum. The young man must first present himself in a positive light. The bride price is not paid only after entering the house. To successfully reach his life companion's room and kiss her, he also has to make a payment. But what if he cannot afford it? Imagine that the groom's financial situation is quite meager, and he comes from a modest family. The Kyrgyz people have foreseen such a case and found a way out of the situation. You may be surprised, but the prospective groom is given a unique opportunity to make up for any missing part and certainly settle his debts. And he doesn't have to go anywhere. The young man is given a task by the bride's father. This approach once again proves the unity of the new families that respect each other. Once upon a time in the Kyrgyz Republic, the tradition of bride kidnapping was widespread. However, over time it lost its necessity. Today, it is more of an entertainment aspect to diversify the wedding ceremony. But as mentioned before, few wish to observe this tradition. As you might have guessed, after the bride price comes the marriage ceremony. This ritual is performed according to religious aspects. Islam plays a key role in the life of the Kyrgyz people. The newlyweds recite a prayer, after which they make promises to each other. They promise to remain faithful throughout their lives, never to abandon each other in difficult times, and to raise their children well. Of course, we cannot overlook the matter concerning the wedding attire. Typically, among the Kyrgyz, the bride wears a long white dress, while the groom appears in a black velvet suit during the celebration. The young man can choose a different color if he wishes. However, as practice has shown, dark attire has become the most preferable. In addition to all the above, It should be noted that all expenses are covered by the groom's relatives, friends, and close associates after the wedding. It's interesting to note that a Kyrgyz wedding does not end abruptly. After all the aforementioned actions, the spouses proceed to the civil registry office, ZAGS. After this, everyone heads to the banquet hall. In some cases, the celebration continues at an upscale restaurant. Finally, after the venues, the groom and bride go to their home. Upon the girl's arrival, she is joyfully welcomed and showered with various sweets. This is how all relatives and guests wish the couple a prosperous and long life. In the new home, the bride must show reverence to all present. It is a sign of profound respect. The girl is expected to show this respect for 3 days. The final stage in the lives of the newlyweds, concluding the wedding ceremony, involves the Sotuirin ritual. For several days, the spouses visit the relatives and close ones of the groom, who in turn give gifts and bless them once more. Restrictions for the bride. In Kyrgyzstan, young women are obliged to follow certain rules, namely prohibitions. For instance, brides refrain from addressing their husband's parents by their first names. Furthermore, brides address their grooms using formal language, the equivalent of you in English, even several days after the wedding day. Strict prohibitions extend to clothing as well. To put it plainly, no miniskirts, shorts, etc. are allowed. Raising one's voice to a man, his relatives, or close ones is also strictly prohibited. Furthermore, by nightfall, all dishes must be washed and put away. The first wedding night. Since we have touched on the end of the day in a new Kyrgyz family, it is worth mentioning the topic of the first wedding night. This is an equally important moment in conjunction with all the wedding traditions and rituals. However, at the same time, it terrifies many brides. Here's why. Chastity is considered one of the commendable qualities for every woman. Future husbands value such brides. Naturally, after their intimate time together, discomfort and pain may arise. By the morning, the very traces left on the bed sheets after being together are shown. As soon as the groom's relatives confirm this fact, they express immense gratitude and respect for their bride, because she had no prior connections before marriage. This signifies her loyalty to her husband. Conclusion. Thus, Kyrgyz weddings are based on many traditions and rituals. Some of them are still observed, and some of them constitute only an addition to the variety. The first wedding night is not just a privacy between the spouses, but also a desire on the part of the bride to prove her innocence.